Everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at Lesson 32 from A Course in Miracles.
Okay.
For anyone who's new to this whole thing, A Course in Miracles is this system, a thought system.
Yeah.
For kind of changing your perception and growing spiritually, and
Right.
uses forgiveness as its main tool.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're looking at Lesson 32,
Okay.
which kind of throws down the gauntlet.
It does.
The lesson says, and I'm going to read it verbatim from the book, I have invented the world I see.
Whoa, boy. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I mean, we've been looking at this Course in Miracles for a while.
Yeah.
And some of these lessons, they just kind of stop you in your tracks, you know?
Absolutely. This is not one that you can just kind of breeze past.
Right. You have to sit with this one for a minute.
Right.
Because if you really consider what it's saying, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. I've invented this whole thing.
It kind of reminds me of that quote, we don't see the world as it is, we see it as we are.
Right. Exactly.
But it takes that concept like a whole step further.
Yeah.
Because it's saying it's not just our interpretation that we're putting on things, but the whole world is our creation.
It's saying we are creating it. We are not just observing it and then coming up with our own ideas about it.
Right. So how do we even begin to wrap our heads around that? What does that even mean?
Well, I think a big part of it is recognizing that what we call the world is totally filtered through our own individual minds. Through our own beliefs, our own experiences, our own, past subconscious fears, subconscious desires. It's like we're all wearing, a pair of glasses that colors everything we see a certain way.
Okay, so you're saying there's a difference between the world as it actually truly is and then this world that we perceive.
Yes, and we are creating the world that we perceive.
Okay.
So it's not to say that the world isn't real, but it's saying that our experience of the world is a projection of our own mind.
So does that mean our problems, our joys, even the people in our lives are figments of our imagination?
Well, you could think about it like a movie projector.
Okay.
The film is real, but the images that we see on the screen, they are created by the projector.
I see.
So in this analogy, our mind is the projector, and the world that we see is that image on the screen. So Lesson 32 is saying, become aware of the projector.
Okay, so become aware of our own minds and how they're shaping everything that we're seeing.
Yes.
Okay, so instead of just reacting to the world, we can start to kind of question the lens that we're looking through.
Yes, become aware of it.
Yeah, okay. So this isn't just about the outside world, right? Because this lesson also says that it applies to our inner world.
Right.
Our thoughts and emotions, even our physical sensations.
Right, because remember, it's all filtered through the mind.
So how can that be, how can our inner and outer worlds be the same thing? They feel so different.
Well, we give meaning to events that are happening around us. Yeah. We interpret sensations, we react with emotions. So while there is this distinction between what happens, quote unquote, out there and what we feel, quote unquote, in here, our experience of both is really shaped by our perception, by our mind.
So my frustration with my coworker who never meets deadlines, I'm creating that through my own perception.
You are creating that. Now, this is not to say that your coworker's actions aren't real or that your feelings are invalid. It's just inviting you to explore, okay, why are these actions triggering you?
Okay.
Is it possible that you're, projecting some past experience or some belief onto the situation?
Interesting.
Are you holding on to resentments
Yeah.
that are making that frustration even worse?
Hmm. That's a really interesting way to look at it. It reminds me a lot of Lesson 31.
Okay.
Where we were looking at the idea of not judging our brothers and sisters because we're actually judging ourselves. What we see in others is just a reflection of what's going on inside of us.
It is.
So this is kind of like a similar concept.
It is. And, A Course in Miracles really emphasizes that the key to changing our experience is forgiveness.
Okay.
And when we forgive, we let go of the judgments and the grievances that are clouding our perception. It's like we are cleaning that lens of the projector.
Yeah.
And then we can see more
clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that analogy a lot. And Lesson 32 even gives us specific instructions for practicing this. It says, look at the world around us, recognize it as our creation, then close our eyes and do the same for our internal world.
Yeah.
And see how both are equally our creations. And then apply this to a difficult situation by saying, I have invented this situation as I see it.
Yeah, that's powerful.
So I actually tried this the other day when I was feeling really stressed out about this presentation I had to give.
Oh, really? How'd that go?
At first, it felt kind of strange, you know?
Yeah.
Like, am I really inventing this? This is a real presentation. But as I kept repeating the phrase, I have invented this situation as I see it, I started to realize, you know what?
Yeah.
My fear was coming from this belief that I wasn't good enough.
Interesting.
That's what was causing the stress. It wasn't the presentation itself.
It was your perception of it.
It was the self-doubt.
Yeah.
And so that helped me to kind of shift my focus from worrying about it to preparing, practicing.
And that's, that's really it. That's the lesson in action, by changing your perception of the situation.
Yeah.
You changed your experience of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I also found it helpful to remember that, like, everyone else is also creating their world.
Of course.
So the coworker who's driving me crazy, they're also looking at the world through their own lens.
Yes.
It doesn't excuse their behavior, but it kind of helps me not take it so personally.
Detach a little bit.
Detach a little bit.
Yeah.
So if we're practicing this lesson consistently, I mean, could we create a world that's less stressful?
It's possible. I mean, the idea is that as we become more aware of how powerful our minds are in shaping our reality, we can choose to perceive things differently.
Right.
It's not denying reality or pretending that problems don't exist, but it's like we're given a path, maybe, a path to greater peace.
Yeah.
A sense of empowerment.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
If we really believe that we invent the world that we see, like, how would that change our choices, our actions, the way we interact with people?
Well, that's the question, right? That's what the lesson leaves us with. It's a journey.
Yeah.
It's self-discovery. And I think it's a continual invitation to question our perceptions and, to try to choose a more loving and compassionate way of seeing everything.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for breaking down this lesson with me. It's definitely one that will be with me for a while as I kind of continue to practice it and digest it.
What will be.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next time.
See ya.